Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to come on here while we start this conversation. I'm just on my personal page today. I have had a trying week, to say the least. I've been personally battling a fever, and in addition to me battling a fever, my dad went back to the hospital, so I haven't had much time to, and then I have my private clients that I have to do. So I hadn't had much time to look into a streaming software. It is my prayer that I could do that this weekend and, get you guys something. So we're just going live on my page for now. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate it. I'm super excited. I get to go see my dad today. I'll give you guys an update. Um, on that. So I wanted to have a conversation today. And I know that there are so many things going on. I know that there is the senseless police killing that's happening in the northern part of our country. I know that we have an idiot for a president. I know that we're in the middle of a pandemic. However, the numbers are being muted, for lack of a better word, and people are continuing to be sick, me included. Even though my coronavirus test results came back yesterday, they were negative. Whatever this is, whatever sickness this is, it's not corona. So I'm hoping that it's just a common cold, or it is my annual flu. It's like the precursor to my annual flu. Whatever it is, we're going to push forward and we're going to keep going. So today, um, I want to talk about an issue. One of the things that I've been really called to is to speak directly to women's issues, more specifically those taboo issues that nobody really wants to talk about. So let's make sure we have all of our stuff. We got our coffee. Y'all know I drink out of this same cup, drink out of my faith cup every day. We got our chucks, and we're about to have the conversation. So thank you so much. I also haven't eaten breakfast, so I'm going to be eating breakfast. So I have my fruit cup and my little Belvita crackers. Okay, so if you hear me snacking or if you see me crunching, I need to eat because I hadn't eaten. I just woke up, took a shower. So I want to talk about today's topic. You may look at it and be like, "Oh Lord, she's gonna blast us," but that's not the premise is not to blast you. The premise is to have a conversation, because we as women, we deal with a lot of stuff and we don't even know why we deal with stuff. So I wanted to tackle laziness today. And as a coach and as a transformation champion, and helping people not only lose weight, but transform themselves spiritually and emotionally, and get handles on the emotions and why we feel the way that we feel and how to process them. One of the things that I really had to contend with on my own personal journey, and that my clients have to face, is laziness. And I know when I was growing up, laziness was almost it would get you whooped in my household. My mother didn't do lazy. Get up, do the dishes. She really didn't care what you had going on or what you were dealing with. Get up, do the dishes, do your chores, be productive. So if your parents were baby boomers like mine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These people did not care about how you felt or anything. They were like, do what I asked you to do or else get beat. Can't do that today now. People calling CPS, video cameras everywhere. But I tell you, if they would have had it when we was growing up, honey, our parents would have been under the jail. I know Mazzola would have been. So I don't expect this to get a whole lot of shares, because here's the truth: we don't want to talk about uncomfortable things. We don't want to be coached in uncomfortable areas. We don't want to be led through the valley. Some of us want to stay in the valley. One of the people that I coach personally, um, and it's a he. He is one of my very good friends, and he has a victim complex. He doesn't feel right unless he feels like the victim. And I'm trying to help him navigate and walk through that. And it's a tough terrain when you're so used to things being done to you. It's very hard to now switch your brain to I am a victor, not a victim. And so we have to have these very hard conversations. And even in some of my female clients, they try to tiptoe around what it is. But the kind of teacher and coach and motivator that I am, let's just hit the hammer on the nail. Let's hit the nail with the hammer. And I want to talk about laziness, and I want to give you some information that I found that in my studies of my own personal journey and trying to help my clients, this is what I found. Um, Laziness um, has siblings, if you will, or they have predecessors, if you will. Laziness is usually a symptom of a deeper problem. Okay. It's not something that you wake up in the morning and aspire to. So you don't wake up in the morning and say, today I'm just going to be lazy. Some days we do because we're tired and we're overworked. But on the norm, you don't wake up and that's your function for today is to be lazy. That's not normal. So there are some other predecessors or some other indicators that there are deeper issues than the laziness. And some of them are depression, fear, and stress. Now, for me, stress literally physically shows itself in my head. I have stress based alopecia. So there are areas in my scalp that are completely bald. And after going to several dermatologists and using several medicines, we finally came up. This is stress induced because when I'm not stressed, my hair is fine. It's healthy, it's growing everywhere. But when I'm stressed, I can wake up and patches of hair are on the pillow. And when I'm stressed, I physically feel it in my body. So that's how stress affects me. And maybe we'll talk about how stress affects you and I'll give you some coping mechanisms. But for today's conversation, stress is one of the primary underlying causes of laziness, fear, and depression. Now, depression is a very broad topic. You can be mildly depressed and you can go all the way up to manic depression, which needs to be diagnosed by a psychiatrist and you need to be on medicine. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, the thought of that is what keeps Black people from going to a mental health specialist. Men ain't going. Women, you could probably talk us into it. You could probably talk us into it. But it's not the first thing we run to. We're gonna go to our pastor, we're gonna go to our girlfriend, we're gonna go to our boyfriend, we're gonna go to our baby. We will go to anything other than going to get on a couch. And I'm here to tell you that after hundreds of therapist visits and thousands of dollars, I am very grateful to have made that investment because I learned a lot about Stephanie and a lot about barriers and a lot about childhood traumas that happened to me that made me the way that I am today, which now affect my relationships, my work, and the things that I do in the universe. So it's a very therapeutic thing. You're right, Dinky. Learn to separate emotion from logic. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't know how to separate emotion from logic. And I'll give you another one. Some people don't have the ability to feel emotion. Stephanie, what are you talking about? Narcissistic people or people who suffer from narcissistic personality disorder lack empathy. Empathy is a key indicator of emotional intelligence and emotional capacity. So some people don't even have the emotional wherewithal or bandwidth to make those distinctions. You're right, emotions do overturn common sense. That's why we have to balance them and we have to understand them. And we're having this conversation. And eventually we'll get into narcissism and I'll tell you about the time that I dated a narcissist and what I found out and how I understand me as an empath and how easy it is for me to get into codependency. So we're going to talk about some real issues, guys, coming up. But I kind of just want to get your feet wet with something as simple as laziness, and having you to understand that there are so many layers that sit up under laziness that we need to have the conversation about. So laziness is not necessarily the problem, it's a symptom. You just like, I'm not doing it. But it could be because you're depressed, or it could be because you're afraid of something. It could be because you're stressed. It could be because you're overwhelmed in your personal life. It could be because you're overwhelmed at work. All of these things lead to laziness. And so I want you to change the way you think about laziness. I don't know how to turn those notifications off, y'all. I want you to change the way you think about laziness. And I want you to not internalize it. And I want to give you some coping mechanisms to view it, to change the way you view about laziness. Change how you look at laziness. First of all, it is a symptom. So that's the first thing you need to know. You need to say to yourself, I am not a lazy person. That is not how I was raised. And that is not on my top five when I wake up every day. I don't wake up saying, oh, I'm going to be lazy today and I'm going to be, I'm just not going to contribute to any area of my life today. So that's the first thing you need to wake up. The second thing, this is where positive affirmations come in. I know there are a lot of people that teach positive affirmations. There are a lot of people that swear by them. I'm one of them. And so every morning I get up and in my journal, I have several journals, as you can see. Look, all of these are journals. All of these are different journals that I write in for different purposes that help get me through my life. I believe in journaling. And so in my journal, I have my affirmations. And my affirmations are not childless. They're not, let me see what she's saying. Laziness comes from willingness to accept challenges, rejection, and fear. Those are some of the things, Dinky, but they're not all of them. Yeah, they're not all of them. And I do think that there is a cultural piece, and I think there is an environmental piece, because all of those factors shape us into being who we are. And so I'm just trying to provide another outlook to people that may be looking as to why you may feel lazy and how to change the way you think about it. Hey, Casey. Yes, ma'am. I'm so glad you're here. And laziness is one of those trigger words. Laziness is one of those words where, if you're on the left side of the spectrum, you get ultra offended because you're not lazy, because you work and work and work. And how could somebody say I'm lazy? And then it could trigger something on the end of the right spectrum where it could be like, well, I never get anything done. So there's a broad spectrum of how laziness will trigger you, but it is something else underlying. And that's really the conversation that I wanted to have today. Hey, Tangi, how are you, First Lady Wilson? I just wanted to drop that in your spirit today, that laziness is a symptom of something else. And so perhaps um, doing monthly morning affirmations will help retrain your brain. And let me tell you the way that I do affirmations. I don't just call it out and be like, oh, I'm a millionaire. To me, that's a lie, because I'm not. And to be honest with you, that's not even in my strategy. That's not something that I wake up and say. That may be some people's goal in life. My goal is to just help people. And I feel that the material abundance will come if I'm operating in my purpose. So I don't lead with money. So for me, my affirmations are, I am walking in victory, because I am. Every day, Lamentation says, every day we're blessed with new mercies. Mercies we didn't earn, mercies we came by. You're blessed with oxygen. You're blessed with the use of your limbs. You're blessed to be able to smell and to use your five senses. So every day, hey, Melanie, every day you have a chance. You have a clean slate. Every day you have a clean slate. So the affirmation that you do is attesting to those mercies. I am loved. I am an heir of the king. I'm walking in victory and I'm living my purpose. Those are the kinds of affirmations that I do. I am a victor, not a victim. Even though people do things to me every single day, it's the way that I respond and it's the love of Christ that I give them Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. I take that and I put that into my personal stratosphere. If they don't know, and even if they're trying to hurt me purposely, it's the lens I choose to look through that keeps me healthy, because I'm only responsible for me. I'm not responsible for them. I'm not responsible for anybody else. What you saying, Casey? Mental, emotional triggers may cause laziness and other things. That is absolutely true. That's why this is an emotional conversation, and we're talking about laziness, and we're talking about its cousins. We're talking about its predecessors. We're talking about the links to laziness. Because I don't truly believe anybody wakes up and says, I'm going to be lazy and non-productive today. It just doesn't sound right. So there's something underneath that you need to take the time and deal with. Now, you can come to somebody like me who's going to be more spiritual and experience based to help you walk through it, because I've walked through it personally. Or you can go to somebody professional. I've done that too. And sit on that couch. If you have a job, you have EPA, you can go to your EPA. And most health insurances will give you, I think mine was like 16 mental visits. I wore those out quickly. But you get those in most of your health packages. So if you are working and you have health insurance, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Go and have a conversation. And there are all kinds of, you can do a psychiatrist, you can do a psychologist, a psychotherapist. They're all different kinds of therapists. You can do a Christian counselor. It falls under mental health. They just have to be inside of your network. But go talk to someone and try to get to those underlying issues. For me, it was that I was depressed. It was that I was depressed. And while it wasn't, I know that's right, girl, the EAP, honey, let me tell you something. Those soft benefits, y'all need to go look at y'all benefit package, because inside of there, depending on where you work, you have weight loss support. So some of y'all can come to my programs and your company will pay you. They will reimburse you to come to some of my weight loss programs. You come see me as a mental counselor and they'll reimburse you. You can pay with your little healthcare card, your FSA card. There are so many soft benefits, guys. The chiropractor is another one. You walking around here with all this stress and all this backache. Perhaps you don't have a bone fracture or you need to get surgery. You just need to, get your spine realigned, or, knock out some kinks or something like that. You don't have to go to Massage Envy for massage. You can go to your chiropractor that's covered under your medical insurance that you pay a monthly premium for. Y'all need to stop wasting these benefits. Go into your HR. Now that we're working from home, this is the perfect time to go through and see what you have access to, and then access those providers to get the help that you need. And I'm telling you, therapy changed my life, and it's given me the tools to be able to change the life of my clients. Yes, depression is real. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you, CCS. Let me talk to Changi. What you saying? Sometimes laziness is a symptom of lost hope or depression. That's what I said earlier in the thing. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Depression is real, y'all. And like I said, there's a broad spectrum of depression. You can be mildly depressed, where you just sad, you take a couple of sleeping pills, sleep it off, and pop up. Or you can be manic depressive that can lead you almost into, some other, mental disorders. I wasn't manic, but I was clinically depressed. I was clinically depressed. And for about 6 months, I was on some meds. And then I came off of them. But I needed to be medicated because I was chemically imbalanced. And the way that I saw myself was not the way that other people saw me. It was not the way that God saw me. So there was nothing in my spiritual background, my emotional background, my real life that helped me see myself healthy. So I had to go get medical help to change my brain, literally. And now I'm well and I don't take any medicine and I'm able to help other people. So you have to be willing to walk through that terrain and dig deeper. So ask yourself, why am I lazy today? And here's my thing. In all of my products and all of my programs, I tell my people, do not lie to yourself. You can lie to people. You can lie to your spouse. You can lie to your kids. But you cannot lie to yourself, because the only person that is going to be hurt as I stare into this camera is you. If you lie to yourself, the only person that will not grow is you. Hey, Charisma. Working for AT&T and I use my EAP. Yes, it helped you deal. Yes, because I know you was there. And I remember how they did you was real stanky. And I wanted to get on 45. I was mad about how they did you. That's right. And it was a Christian-based therapy class. And AT&T paid for every red dime of it, didn't it? Them soft benefits will bless your life. And so, Charisma, I remember when she was walking through that. I remember when she posted the day she got fired. I remember that day. She didn't even know what she was going to do. But God was already working that thing out. And once she released that assignment, now she's doing full-time ministry, which is what I suspect she always wanted to do. Don't really know, but I suspect she always wanted to do full-time ministry. Now she down the street from me in Houston, full-time ministry. Ain't missed the meal. Ain't missed the beat. And have the kind of freedom that she would have never had she kept holding on to AT&T. I'm telling y'all, this stuff is real. Y'all got to get this help that you already have. So I know when I put this title up, I said, Lord, these people gonna unfriend me and unblock me. He said, and that's all right. That means they're not meant for you where you going into this new season. I'm trying to help people for real. I'm trying to help you in here, and I'm trying to help you in here. That's why you can go to church or you can watch a live broadcast and not change. That's why. Not one beat, sis. Not one. Hear me? Not am. Like our grandma used to say, not am beat. Ain't miss not am one. So listen, you have got to make a decision in 2020. Whenever you see this video, that you are no longer going to be a victim of your circumstance or victim of not understanding why you feel the way that you feel. Because your emotions, while fluid and while they change minute by minute, they are valid. They don't override logic. They should not override logic, but there should be a healthy balance between logic and emotion. That's why God gave us both, because he wants us to balance them both. One should not outweigh the other. They should work in tandem to create an equilibrium. And you should be a very equal and balanced individual. But most of us are like this. We all emotion and no logic, or we all logic and no emotion. And some of us are like this, where the two have never met. And these are people who have mental issues, where the two have never met. You've never been both emotional and logical, and you don't understand your emotions. And the divide, this space right here, is more than likely childhood trauma. The more and more I study and more I continue to go to my therapist and continue to research this stuff, childhood trauma is in the 80th percentile of why in our adult years we think the way we do, we move the way we do, we have the relationships that we have, we treat people the way we treat people, we view our world the way we view our world. There are past childhood traumas. Some of them are as egregious as abuse. Some of them are not nearly as bad. One of my friends, he was telling me why he doesn't trust people, and we kept talking and I said, well, tell me, what was it? Why don't you trust people? He's like, I'm never gonna get married, I'm never gonna have this because I just don't trust people. And I'm like, why? He told me the story of when he was a little boy. His daddy, he was in a tree, and his daddy said, son, I'm gonna teach you a lesson today. Never trust nobody. He told him that, kept on playing. Okay, daddy, I hear you. He said, son, never trust anybody. Okay, daddy. Okay, oh, daddy. And so then he was trying to get down. His daddy said, oh, you ready to get down? He said, yeah, I'm ready to get down. He said, well, come on, son. I'm going to catch you. Just all you got to do is follow. I'm going to catch you. Now, this is his father. This is his father. But he's a boy. He's like 8 years old. So he's just playing in a tree. Baby, he fell. His daddy moved out the way and he hit the ground. And he said, what did I just tell you? I think he broke a limb or something. He said, "What did I just tell you? I told you never trust people." And do you know that this grown 45-year-old man still remembers when he was 8 years old and his father didn't catch him out of a tree? It took us 3 months to talk through to figure out that is the event that has him 45, single, no kids, never been married, and is struggling to trust anybody. And because he can't trust, he can't love. And because he can't love, that's you see what so do you understand how you really need to unpack these things? He knew he had a trust issue, and he knew that this trust issue is, preventing him from moving forward in a healthy, remember we talked about healthy, connecting those emotions to logic. So he just lives logic. And he don't even worry about emotion. Because when he was 8 years old, his daddy taught him a very strong lesson. May not have been the correct way to teach it, because now he can't build bridges. He can't build those healthy relationships. So I just want to tell you that this is a work. This is a process. I had my midlife crisis in 2015. Actually, almost to the day. It was May the 25th of 2015. And I got laid off from Chevron, no notice. And 3 days later, the guy that I was dating, had been dating 2 years, walked out on me, told me, "Hope you got a 401k because I'm not taking care of you." It was a horrible situation. I ain't never got no child support from them daddies. So that's a whole nother situation. So I was literally on my own. My entire life had got taken from under me in a span of 3 days. And I'm like Charisma. I have not missed a beat. Thankfully, I did have a 401k. The little Negro was trying to be funny, but thankfully I did. I had a whole 6 figures sitting in a 401k, and I didn't miss a beat. I depleted it. But God gave me a job again in 2017. And then in 2018, I came full time. And I checked my 401k, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm about 70% now that I was in 2015. And I've only been working where I had a 401k for this job for about a year and a half. So I want to tell you, we all have our own journeys. I went to Christian counseling a few years ago, and it was the best thing I could have done. That's why I'm in my school getting my biblical counseling degree, so I can help others. That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's awesome, because you were willing to walk through and do the work. So I'm imploring you guys. It's 11:28. We got 2 minutes. I'm trying my best to make this a 30-minute conversation every Friday. But listen, I want you to be healthy, not just in your body, not just what you eat, fruit and all of that. Wonderful. Praise the Lord. But when death comes knocking at your door, are you still going to eat healthy then? Are you still going to have a healthy outlook on life then? When sickness comes knocking at your door, what will your coping mechanisms be? When you lose your job, what will you do? Will you put on lenses to help dive into your talents and reach out to people who have platforms that can help you build your talents? Or will you go get in the cover and be depressed and then be lazy? So I really want you to be healthy, and I want you to be well. And my definition of that is less about what you eat and more about how you feel and how you think. So it has been my pleasure to share with you today's topic. I hope that there is something that I've said. The tips that I want you to walk away from is change your thinking about laziness. It is not a condition, if you will. It is a symptom of a condition. So if you struggle with laziness, then you need to know that there is something else that you need to deal with, and you need to reach out for help. Because if you would have figured it out, if you had the answer, then you would not be experiencing what you're experiencing. So you need help, and it's okay. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to anybody in your family that's a therapist. You can reach out to Christian counseling. And let me tell you something. When I was going through mine, I did not go to my church. Here's why I didn't go to my church. Number one, I was the worship leader. And number two, I didn't want them in my business. And I'm just going to be honest. I've been in church leadership since I was 13 years old. 13 years old. And of all the churches that I have worked for, I have never joined a church. I've never joined a church because I know what goes on behind the scenes. And so I just keep on tithing at my little church. I've been there 20 years and I just keep it moving. But that's why I didn't go to my church. But my church wasn't churches like Wheeler Avenue that has an amazing Christian counselor, Good Hope that has amazing Christian counseling, Fort Bend that has amazing Christian counselor. My church wasn't one of these churches that have all of these things. So maybe if I would have been in a church where I had access to these Christian counselors, I would have taken it, but I didn't. I went to, this little old Asian lady. Yes, because I wanted objective. I wanted somebody that didn't know nothing about Christianity. She was spiritual, but she wasn't Christian. So I did what I wanted to do because I was very pointed about the help that I wanted to receive. And I wanted somebody that was going to shake me and not allow me to talk myself out of it. And she didn't. She was a little old lady. She was like 4 feet tall. And she was this little old frail thing. And she would come in and she would tell me, "We're not lying today. We're not lying today. I'm tired. And if you're going to lie, then I'm going back home." That little old lady, she didn't play with me, honey. She said, "It's your money you wasting. So if you want to sit in here for 50 minutes and lie, go ahead. I'm a color. I'm gonna go to my desk and I'm a color. But if you want to have a real breakthrough, I'm here." I cried tears on that lady couch. She had this blow up figure in the corner and she had this bat where you could, baby, I told that thing up. She had to get a whole new one. She said, "Ooh, this anger. We got to deal with this anger." I told the lady furniture up. I'm telling you, that was the best. That was the best 6 months of my life, y'all. I'm telling you. I do think that some of the foods we eat, absolutely, Casey, absolutely, all of the stuff that they inject into this food. That's why you need to make you. That's why it needs to be a total transformation, and that's why I started my company, Temple Transformation 360, because you're going to do a circle, but the person you become while you're making your circle is what I am most concerned with. So that when you get back to where you started, you are not the same person. You are healthy spiritually, you are healthy emotionally, and you are doggone it healthy in your body. That is why I am on the earth. I used to think I was on the earth to sing, but I'm not on the earth to sing. Singing is just one of the things that I do as a part of helping people reach total wellness. It's really my love language to God. And I just bring people along the journey. But for a long time, I felt like that's why I was in the earth. And the Lord said, "No, I just wanted to gift you with that. That's just one of the things that attracts people to you. But once you're attracted to them, I need you to help heal them." There's a saying, hurt people hurt people. Well, I live on the other spectrum of that. Healed people heal people. And so that is why I am here. I am here to help heal you mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so I want to thank you for joining our conversation. I hope that you will take a different look at laziness and that you will understand that there is a condition that is producing this laziness. I hope you will not turn to pills. I hope you will not turn to potions or drugs or alcohol. I hope you will turn to someone like me, your pastor, your teacher, your therapist, a friend, someone that you trust enough to help walk you through why you feel lazy. That's right, Monique. Healed people heal people. And that's why I don't really talk about political issues on my live. I don't really talk about things because I'm a healer and healers spend time healing people. So when you come to my page, I want you to be confident that the only thing you're going to see is positive and uplifting material. So I want to thank you. Good information. Thank you, First Lady. I want to thank you. And I'm still working on my website. I'm in the pilot of my weight loss program. And last night, the ladies are just amazing. They are having so many wins. I cannot wait for you to see this transformation in these 30 days. And I'm coming up to my emotional pilot. where we're going to be talking about issues like laziness and narcissism and codependency and toxicity and things like that. So once I get that set up, I'm going to do a 5-day forgiveness challenge. And once that challenge comes out, the next thing is going to be that 45-day pilot, and it's going to bless your life. I'm telling you, honey, these breakthroughs that I'm having. So just because you don't see the full thing doesn't mean that I'm not working. I'm being spirit led, and I'm working with people as God is giving me the download. Great information. Thank you, Miss Santos. Do me a favor. Share this. Share this with 2 people that you know suffer from laziness. 2 people. 2 people. That's what I want you to do. Share it with 2 people. You can share it to your timeline or you can share it personally inside the messenger. But I want you to share it. I want you to come back and I want you to comment shared after you've shared it. You never know what kind of blessing is in obedience. I'm old school Baptist. The blessing is in the benediction. I still believe that. That's traditional, but that's all right. I still believe the blessing is in the benediction. So if you hung out for 36 minutes, I want you to share this with 2 people, then come back and type shared. And I've got a blessing for you. You guys have an amazing day. I'll see you next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel for coffee, shucks, and conversation. See you guys later. I'm off to the hospital to see my dad. Alrighty. Bye, guys. Love you.